Good morning, good evening, and good day. Very warm welcome to you all to this episode in a series of webinars from global e-commerce experts. Very welcome, very pleased to have you here. Excited about today's content, of which we are discussing online growth and accelerating your online growth. And at GE, we do that in the form of an account health check. So tonight we are going to talk about who the account health check is for, what it is, what you get within it, and the outputs of that, which are a scalable plan of action to grow your business within the EU and the UK. So welcome again to you all. We'll talk a little bit about the well-trodden path of global e-commerce experts' 6-step guide to expansion in the EU and of course the UK after Brexit. And tonight's webinar episode concentrates very firmly in the middle of the matrix around your marketplace launch for those sellers who have not yet begun selling in the EU and the UK. And for those who already have, it works on the promotion and optimization of your e-commerce and online selling platform sales. So a bit about me. My name is Riki Hooker. I'm the general manager here at GE, and you'd have probably heard my tones on many of the webinars here for global e-commerce experts. But tonight we're joined excitedly by another member of our team, Willis, who is now part and is head of department in our account management division here at Global E-commerce Experts. Really pleased to have Ant on board within the business, and he's put a lot of moves and exciting input into creating these account health checks and helping to grow sellers online. Comes with a huge amount of experience in e-commerce account management, and we're really pleased to have you in. Thanks, Ant, for joining us.
Thank you.
So let's look a little bit into the account health checks themselves. But before we start, as ever, with GE's webinars, but actually I very often forget to do them. We have a poll which you should be able to see on your screen that can help us to shape some of the talk later on within the webinar. So you'll see that one of the polls there is your biggest challenge with Amazon. So if you get an opportunity to, as Ant's running through some of the slides here, if you could just take a look at the multiple choice questions on there and see if that can help to gauge the way that we lay out the kind of back end of the webinar. And excitingly, today, at the end of today's webinar, we have got the most spectacular offer for everyone here who's listening today. So you must stay till the end because this is a must-have. But Ant, thanks very much for preparing this. I'm really excited to see what you've come up with. So over to you to talk about the account health checks.
Perfect. Thanks, Riki. Yeah, so we'll just start with a quick overview of what an account health check is. It's essentially where one of our team of account managers will kind of review your seller account and provide expert opinions and advice on how to improve your performance across the kind of European marketplaces. We'll go through the account. There are certain metrics that we'll check that we'll move on to in a second. And what that would basically do is provide an overview document at the end where we can give you all the kind of recommendations and feedback that you need to enhance your performance. Who is an account health check for? I mean, to be perfectly honest, the account health check can provide add value to all kinds of different sellers. But particularly sellers that want to improve their performance, and it's predominantly for sellers that are expanding or expanded into the UK. We see quite a few knowledge gaps that are the cause of unfulfilled potential within certain seller accounts. So it's always great to be able to kind of provide that knowledge gap and help sellers expand or increase their performance with their e-commerce accounts. So just a quick overview of what's included. There are many different areas that we kind of look into when we're running through the account health checks. But these are the kind of the 5 key areas that we look at. So current performance is always important. The actual optimization of your listing, the inventory management, which we'll talk about in more detail in a second, your advertising strategy, and the overall kind of customer experience as well. So starting with current performance, basically our team will compare your account performance across different verticals. When we talk about different verticals, it's almost dependent on the type of account that we're looking into. So that could mean by different region, by sales period, or by product category. So it really just gives us a real good overview on how your account has historically performed, and it can also kind of give us a good guide into what we can do to, where the areas of concern are that we can add value to. We'll also look to assess other metrics such as the conversion rates, buy box win rate, and all different kind of metrics like that will kind of lead to overall improvement. And then we'll kind of go into the traffic levels across the ASIN. So who's clicking on the listings, how many people are we getting, how are we driving that traffic to those listings. Again, a really important performance enhancement tool. The optimization of your listing. So optimization is generally about the kind of the keyword placement. Making sure that you have keyword rich titles and bullet points is key. But obviously the bit is there's a keyword rich title that can look really naff. So it's about finding that balance between having a really nice flowing title that looks professional, but also has all the right keywords in all the right places. So that's something that we can look at, and obviously that really helps to drive conversion on your listings. We then investigate the back-end keywords to make sure that they're all fully optimized. We can track certain keywords as well to ensure that they're performing. We make sure that your listings communicate the message effectively. So by that we mean that, is it getting the message across that your brand wants to perceive? We do that by kind of comparing the look and feel of the listing to one of that of your website or something like that. So we can be sure that the message that you're trying to get across is coming across within your Amazon listing. Again, that's really important when it comes to the conversion of your of the conversion rate of your listing. And we'll also evaluate the imagery as well. So again, we would just look at kind of category, look at category leaders, look at how their images are. There's always basics to imagery that we'll give you advice on, but we can delve a little bit deeper into that as well. So inventory and shipment, staying in stock is one of the key metrics to having a successful Amazon listing, or in fact, going out of stock is one of the main reasons that your listing will lose traction, and it will lose traction very quickly. I'm sure some of you have experienced this. So a really solid inventory plan is absolutely key. So that's why we include this as one of the key metrics in the account health check. We've actually recently learned that even as you begin to get low on stock, the Amazon algorithm will begin to limit traffic being directed to your page. So that just kind of enhances the importance of having a solid inventory strategy. Advertising. So again, advertising, Amazon ads are becoming more and more important to driving traffic to your pages. So the Amazon works on the advertising part of Amazon works on a kind of a bid strategy. So where more and more people are beginning to use advertising, the bids are becoming higher, and it's much more important to make sure that we're bidding on the correct keywords in the correct placements, in order to make sure that our listings are appearing at the top of the page where we want them to be. So as part of the account health check, we will kind of have a look over your advertising strategy, and just kind of make sure that it's kind of optimized as much as possible. And then, yeah, customer feedback. So we know that Amazon are extremely customer centric. We also know that that they've really tightened up on their kind of review policy. So we're not able to reply to negative reviews, etc. anymore. But all of that has basically led to it becoming even more important to have a solid review strategy in place. So when we talk about kind of review collection, it could be Vine, and it could be kind of leaflets, etc. There's lots of different ways to do that. So we'll kind of look at what your current strategy is and look at the level of reviews that you're receiving, and we'll basically recommend ways to improve that. We'll also look at your customer feedback and any kind of consistently low rated products to see if there's anything like any consistent messaging coming through that we could amend to improve your feedback scores. Yeah, so that, as I said, the health check covers many areas. So that was just the kind of overview of the kind of key points that it covers. As well as those points, it covers all of the points you can see before you. So pricing policy, buy box percentage, the reporting of data and how and how we're kind of reading into that, the brand enhancement, it's storefront. If you've got a brand store, we'll look at that, and what your cross-platform potential could be, and lots more. And then once we've kind of gathered all of that data, what we'll do is we'll create a summary of kind of insights and recommendations, and then one of the account managers will kind of walk you through that kind of recommendation.
Wow, that's quite comprehensive, man.
It is.
You're gonna be a busy boy, aren't you?
I am. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm probably going to be kicking myself in a few weeks' time. But it's really important. The more Amazon kind of flexes and changes, the more people are not fulfilling their potential. So these kind of things can be really important.
Well, if we circle back to the poll here, the results of the poll are quite distinct. The driving traffic to listings and the buy box win rate is the two things which are of most importance from a listener and from a viewer perspective. But what that does to me is highlights what typically are the common outputs. You've talked about the bits that are assessed, but what's a common output from the health check itself?
So it would be exactly that. So you're not winning the buy box, for example, on some key products, or it could be that your top 5 products have a combined buy box win rate of 70%, which is too low. And there are some common misconceptions around buy box win rate, that it's all driven on price. There's actually a lot more to it. So we can kind of offer recommendations on how you can kind of increase that buy box win rate.
Okay, and what in terms of wins? That's a good point, actually. What are from the results of a typical health check? What are the big wins? What are the things that typically make the biggest difference in terms of actions that come out of the health check?
Like I said before, it's we noticed that there's quite a bit of there's quite a few knowledge gaps in the way Amazon works, and obviously because it's an ever evolving marketplace, there are many things that that we can kind of report back that really help. I think one of the major things is the continual optimization of a listing. So again, a common misconception is that you do your keyword research and that's it, done. People search for different things all the time, and that those search terms evolve quite quickly, and it does depend on things that are kind of social media has a big impact on what people search for. And if you're ranking for a search term that's no longer being searched for, your products aren't going to be found. So that that's quite a common output from the account health check.
And what about the internationalization side of things? If sellers are perhaps in the US or outside of the UK and the EU, what are the key points of optimization when it comes to European Amazon or European e-commerce platforms?
Yeah, so it's all about the kind of localization. So localized translation is obviously mega important. Google Translate often makes the listing look not very professional. So that's a real key. But also, again, like with the keywords, different regions of different countries will search for different products differently. So it's really, really key to have a solid keyword strategy in place for each region.
Okay, so that's through translating for individual theaters, I guess, for individual platforms.
Exactly, yeah.
And then what about the starting further back in the journey of a seller's UK and EU expansion? I guess the health check would also flag the more fundamental compliance-based requirements to be able to trade in a particular area.
Yeah, so part of the health check is to look at the account health. So in the account health section of Seller Central, there's compliance issues that get flagged in there quite early. A lot of sellers might not kind of look into any of those into too much detail until they kind of flash up red. But we will give, as you say, we'll give recommendations on anything that could potentially cause an issue.
Wow, fantastic. Okay, well, look, we said at the beginning that there was a specific offer that we wanted to tell you about. Before that, in case there's any questions that haven't come through, just want to do a shout out to some really valued customers. I can see Martha from Fab Little Bags here. Thanks for joining us. And Rod from Debrief Me. Your face masks have kept us safe all the way through the pandemic. So thank you, Rod, for the things that you do there. Sorry if I've missed anyone. Sometimes I can only see first names, but thank you for everyone for coming along. But Ant, tell us what we're proposing for the people that are watching today live.
So yeah, as a bit of a one-off, we are going to offer everybody that's watching a free account health check. In order to claim that, you'll receive an email with a unique link. All you need to do is click the link and fill out the form. That will come through to me and my team, and we will be in touch to kind of go through a free account health check for you guys.
So not only is it a bumper offering, but you're giving it away for free as well.
Exactly.
Well, Andy's going to have words with you, I'm pretty sure. Listen, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. As ever, we'd love you to stay in touch and stay in the know with all of the content that GE is creating. Ant's details on the screen here if you wanted to contact him directly to have any questions regarding the account health checks or to find out any more about the services that we can do. And of course, all of our other social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, many of you here already connected to those. If you want to stay in touch with some separate content, there's different content on different platforms. So please do stay in touch on that front. Otherwise, we'll be back in a week or so's time with some additional insight to share regarding growing your business inside the UK and in the EU. Thanks very much again for attending. Thank you, Ant, for all your input and preparing the slides for today's webinar. And
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.